Buonasera.
Buonasera a
Eccoci
tutti.
alla quarta puntata con Guardiamo Oltre. Sono Gabriele Saverio e siamo qua con Hamid Reza. Noi lo chiameremo Reza, come ci ha chiesto.
Yeah.
E lui è uno studente, un ricercatore di ingegneria nucleare e siamo qua appunto stasera, come dice il titolo, a parlare un po' di nucleare. Quindi, so we are here with Hamid Reza. Lui è iraniano, he's Iranian. So, in questa live parleremo in inglese. We will speak in English.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're welcome. So, the first question is, what is a nuclear reactor and how does nuclear fiction works?
Oh, okay. Basically, we say a reactor is the place at which that the reaction is taking place. It can be chemical or it can be biological. If you add the term of the nuclear, is the place that the fission reaction is taking place. We call it the nuclear reactor. Now, if you want to, let's say, consider how the nuclear fission works in very rough and simplified way in order to everyone to understand, consider that you have a heavy element. And by heavy, we mean that the atomic number is high. Yeah. And if you consider the nucleus of this element, like you have a break of wall, and you have some breaks, like considering of the protons and the neutrons, and you connect them together.
Yeah.
And you have this nucleus. Now, if you break it in any way, you will have these small bricks disconnecting from the wall, and you have some kinetic energy because they will move. And this movement will produce you energy because due to the friction, they will stop and they will produce heat.
Friction between two atoms, yeah.
Friction, due to the touch, positive touch that they have this produced.
Frizione.
Yeah.
Attrito.
Yes. And in this way, we will produce heat. Now we insert a coolant, typically can be water, it can be gas, or it could be liquid metal, to absorb this heat. And this heat is taken now to our coolant. This coolant will go to the conventional normal steam generator. By normal, I mean that it is especially designed by nuclear, but it is like a steam generator for each plant that we have. If you consider, like if you have a coal plant, you have a steam generator. That place that water will boil, and you will send this steam to the turbine. Turbine will move, and you will produce. You have a generator. You will produce load, and this generator will produce electricity for you. Now, this is a very simplified and rough way of to say the nuclear reactor and how the fission works.
Yeah, it's very raw, but everybody can understand what fiction, how fiction works.
Yeah,
So,
and everybody can ask questions if you have it. Yeah.
Yeah. So very simply, but very, very, very clear. And so in this case, we can go direct to the second question about history. So I know that there are 4 types of generators. The first generation reactors.
Yeah.
Second, third, and fourth. That's the nowadays generators, reactors. So can you tell me something about this history?
So if we consider, like, you can imagine every industry, like if you consider a car industry, they started from some prototype of the cars. They did some tests. They started to analyze the behavior of the cars in some situations. And then based on the result, they started to build the cars. Like you can suppose any company, they started this way. So we call the first generation the prototype reactors, that they were just kind of reactors that they were designed to demonstrate the the behavior of the system, the safety of the reactor. And after this demonstration, we decide which concept we can continue. Like there is one type of the reactor, like a boiling water reactor. It was first announced by the engineer from General Electric in the United States. They produce some test reactors just to test this idea of the boiling happening inside the reactor. And then after that, they started to build the commercial reactors that are the generation 2, the commercial one that are also was built in Italy, like Carso or in Torino. There were some boiling water reactors. And now, if we decided after, because the science is always progressing toward the forward, so we started to increase the safety of our systems, and we call these new reactors generation 3 and 3 plus.
3 plus.
That, for example, in Europe, one famous design is the EPR, known as the European Economic Pressurized Reactor. That we increase the safety level of the components, we increase the behavior of the system, and also we increase the efficiency of the whole system. And now here comes and there are other designs. Also, there are some Korean ones like APR 1400. There is the American design. AP1000, that it is the abbreviation of the Advanced Pressurized Reactor. And this number 1000 is the amount of the electrical power produced. It is 1000 megawatt electrical. Okay. Now, this generation 4 is totally revolutionary because the idea of increasing the economic of the safety and the sustainability of the reactor is innovative. Because you can imagine we are burning the uranium 235 mostly in our reactors. And in the other side of the problem, we know that the amount of the uranium 235 in the planet Earth is limited. Everything is limited in the Earth. We don't have anything unlimited.
Yeah, every resource is limited.
Yeah. So we decided to build the reactor to compensate to this problem. Of course, the problem of the depletion of the uranium 235 is not a thing that will happen in a few years or a few decades. It is a very long time. But we start to analyze the systems from now. Otherwise, we will not be prepared to the time that the uranium is depleted and we need energy because the population is growing, let's say 2%. The amount of the energy that it is demanded from the people is increasing. So we have to follow this load, let's say. So the idea is that we in these reactors, we call them, they are a kind of a breeder because they are changing the...
Breeder in which sense?
A breeder is because, okay, if we consider the fissionable material, the material that has the capability to do the fission, we consider them in the two categories. I will describe them very well because it's necessary. We have fertile material and we have the fissile material. Like I said, if you consider this this wall that consists of the brecks, many brecks that you have, you can consider that you have some of the brecks are protons, some of the brecks are neutrons connected together, and they form a nucleus. Some of the material, they have this capability to break the wall themselves. Like we don't have to induce anything. They are unstable. And that material is called fissile material, like it is.
Radioactive material.
Yeah, they are all radioactive material. All of them are radioactive, and the radioactive means that the nucleus has or contains more energy than it should have, let's say, and it is radioactive. It is emitting energy, and this energy can be in any form. But
By
that
neutrons,
doesn't. It's possible. It can be by neutrons. It's very rare. It can be by gamma or beta minus,
radiations.
Yes, by radiations. But I will get to this point again, because radioactivity doesn't mean that they do harm. Now, as I said, this some of the material this wall can break by itself. We call it fissile, and sometimes we need some sledgehammer, some very big hammer to break this wall. That's called the fertile material, like uranium-238. Now, in these breeder reactors, we are changing this uranium-238 by reaction to fissile material. Let's say you can change it to plutonium-239, that this material can produce, this is fissile, and we can use this fissile material produced in the reactors that we have and they are built before. So we are producing fuel for each of the reactors that we have, say, and that are built before.
Yeah, that's a cheap choose.
Yeah.
Like a very economic way.
Yeah, but I would say they are not very cheap. We can.
No, cheap in sense of not expensive, but like in the sense that we use everything of the material.
Yes.
So we don't leave anything out.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that's
There is no waste, do you think?
yeah, no waste.
Basically there are some waste. If we have to be honest, there are some waste, but these wastes are less radioactive than before, because we have a higher flux of neutrons. We are burning this radioactive material, and we are reducing the content of the radioactivity of our wastes, which we go to more and more safer zones.
And maybe the time of I don't know, his
half-life.
Half-life, exactly.
Yes.
Half-life of the radioactive material. So it's like about how many years?
For each material, the half-life is different.
Yeah, it's different. But for the main, I don't know. Maybe a statistic. I don't know.
I can say that we have some materials that the half-life is like 18 million years.
Okay.
We have some material that their half-life is less than a second, a fraction of the second. This implies that more energy you have, less half-life you will have. Because atom wants to get to a stable position as soon as possible.
Yeah.
And if you have more energy, you want to go back faster to the, let's say, to a stable level, which we call it ground level in physics. But as I said, a less half-life means that the nucleus is more energetic. And sometimes it's good for us because we can take more energy from this nucleus.
Okay. So we can concentrate ourselves now on the liquid metal cool reactor. How it works specifically, if you can explain, yeah.
So the concept of the liquid metal reactors, if I want to be general, is like the other reactors. We having a fusion reaction going on in our reactor continuously.
Yeah, we are talking about fission, not fusion.
Yes, fission. Yes, the splitting of the heavy element.
Yes.
And instead of the water, we are using a liquid metal like sodium, like the lead, or it can be the lead bismuth. There are some studies going on, especially in here in Italy, and also there are some research facilities or built like in the Belgium, in the SCKCN, the MIRA. It's the research facility built to deal with these liquid metal reactors. Because before commercializing of our reactors, we have to make sure about the safety of our reactors. Because we will build it in the very, let's say, in the big size, these reactors. So before that, we perform some tests. We demonstrate the safety of this reactor to the regulator body that in Italy it is ISIN. And then we start to build the reactor to produce the clean energy to the public.
Yeah, so there are some prototypes yet, or
There are some. Also, some of the fast breeder reactors have been built. They are operating as we speak now, and there are some of them are under construction. Like in China, some of them are under the construction.
Okay. Yeah.
So, I don't know if you hear. Mi sentite? Sì, ok, funziona. Bene. So we spoke about the first generation reactor. Like we told that there are most of the pro and less cons. But if you can explain how many types of reactor exist nowadays, like the categories of like water cooled or I don't know if
we can categorize our reactors within let's say lots of types. Let's say we can select based on the coolant, we can select them based on the fuel that we use, we can select them based on the need to have the pressure vessel. Lots of things can be
also
taken.
the dimension.
Because also the dimension, because now we are speaking about SMR, small modular reactors, because now
modular,
they are small and they are also in the but if I want to, let's say, categorize in the common way, we call them in the 4 ways. There are water cooled reactors, there are gas cooled reactors, there are liquid metal cooled reactors, and there are non-classical cooled reactors. There are some ideas, but it will take some time to develop them. Yes.
Yeah, like also gas cooled, no?
No, gas cooled were built a long time ago. Like there were a Magnex reactor or AGR in United Kingdom, and they were based and designed based on the gas.
Yeah, like helium, I think.
Yeah, can be helium, can be carbon dioxide, can be air. It depends on the design that the designer or the company takes them. Because each coolant will have different behavior.
And cooled with carbon dioxide cause emissions, or is a process that
close the process.
Yeah, they close the process.
No, it's not. When the reactor is carbon dioxide coolant, coolant doesn't mean that we have to produce carbon dioxide to cool the reactor.
Okay.
We take this carbon dioxide from the air.
Okay.
So or we can there are some plants like you can imagine there is one coal plant in the nearby of the plant producing carbon dioxide, and some of this carbon dioxide as a co-product of the coal factory, which is harmful to the environment, will be taken and will be used to cool the reactor. So it doesn't imply that we are increasing the emission of the carbon dioxide to the
atmosphere,
airs, to the atmosphere.
I think, because there are biofilters to catch the carbon dioxide.
Of course, we have in every plant, we have chimneys, we have very advanced filters. We have also multi-layer, let's say, filtering. We don't use one simple filter. You can imagine we have filters like we call it HEPA. We have charcoal filters, lots of different, also based on the principle of the physics that they work, to make sure that we are absorbing the most of the radioactive material, and make sure that the air that is or the let's say, or the let's say the air that is leaving our environment of the nuclear is clean and is absolutely fine based on the regulation that is being set by the government, by the WHO. There are a lot of people checking on that every day. We use a lot of monitoring systems, also for radioactivity. So it's very complex. And I can say to you that also as additional, that each one of these sections, they have their own engineering things to study. So I cannot go to the design of the filters, because there is another engineer studying the effect of the radioactive material, and he will study how to track this radioactive material in the filters. So you can see that it's a very complex system. Yeah. We are dealing with a very complex system indeed.
Yeah, because we are talking about the complex system, there is also a very complex monitoring system. Yeah.
Yes, because we have to ensure the safety of the people, because all of these things they started from the rule of the 10 CFR of the United States, that we can use the nuclear, but we have to protect the people, we have to protect the workers, and we have to also protect the environment we live. So based on that, other rules are developed. We have the rules for radiation protection. We have the rules in the thermohydraulics, in the structural mechanics, in material. But the aim is just this maintaining these three goals that we have.
This influence also the time to build a nuclear plant. So we can take 7-10 years also.
A time to build a plant, a time for a construction is a different with the time to build of the plant, because when you decide to build a plant, you have to do some safety analysis that we call the SAR, Safety Analysis Report. We send this safety analysis that we did to the licensing body, which again, it can be, for example, in the United States is the NRC. In Germany, I guess it should be Gesellschaft für Anlagen und Reaktorsicherheit.
But in Germany, the government announced that they will close the nuclear plants.
Yeah, but before Germany was very advanced in the nuclear. But we will get to that too. So you send these documents to the regulator body. It will be checked by the experts in the licensing body again. If there are some modification, or there are some ideas, or there are something that doesn't make sense by them, you have to comply with those ideas. You have to show again and demonstrate the safety. Then all of them will send again to regulator body. If you after that you modify them, and after that it is approved. Now you have to do the selection of the plant, because you cannot build a power plant, nuclear power plant everywhere.
No.
Then you have to do the siting. I don't go to this subject because it's very vast. Then when you select the position of the plant and you have the acceptance of the regulator, you start to construct. This time of the construct is limited. Because before there wasn't many experience, but now, for example, French company, they have very good experience in building the plant. They can build the plant, or also in Italy, it's possible on Salto Nucleare. Maybe one day we can build a plant in less than 6 or 5 years. It's possible.
Okay. Yeah,
it's possible for the I think for the modularity of the new reactors.
For a small modular reactor, you need less time. For 5 years, I mean, we go to the big reactors, like a 1,000, 6,000 megawatt electric. Because small modular reactors, they have some benefits. There are some disadvantages. Like there are, nothing in the universe is absolutely positive.
Can you say about also disadvantages?
The advantage of the small modular reactor first is that it is because due to its size, it can be built for each city. It can be built even for a factory that you need, let's say, amount of energy. So in this way, you don't have the problem of the transition of the energy with the line, with the grid. Because otherwise you have to build the plant, you have to do the gridding, you have to set up some lines. These lines are not normal lines. They are, for example, I guess 150 kilovolt. There are some others. I don't know them very well, let's say. But these small modular reactors, the main principle is that they can build for a small population, for a small city.
And to alimentate small communities.
Yeah, for small communities. But the concept of the SMR is for countries that mostly, and it is my idea that the distance between a city and another city is too far. Like I could say maybe in Canada. But in Europe, the distance between the cities are not that much that we start to, let's say, put SMRs. But still, they have some other advantages that still it is, they are very good. Like we can produce hydrogen from them. We can produce radiomedicines.
Yeah.
So it is, let's say, they are very good. I don't say that they are not beneficial at all.
Okay.
Yeah. Very, very, very interesting. So we pass to the next question.
Yes.
Yeah. So let me check. Next question is which category of reactors you study? Because now we spoke in general, but we didn't tell about what you study, what you research about, what your main.
So basically now I am mostly developing my knowledge and skills in the pressurized water reactors. That they are kind of the reactors that are cooled with the water. You may ask why, and I can say that these kind of reactors are deeply studied. We have also some problems, but the problems are known and we know how to deal with them.
Yeah.
But if we change the type of the reactor, we are introducing, let's say, we are going from physics A to physics B. That's why now in these days they are studying new reactors, but they are in the terms of the physics. And if you want to build something, you have to know the physics very well, how it works. Then you have to apply engineering to make it a reality. This is how the science works. It is also in the car, in the electrical, or in the electronics. Everywhere it was like that. They all start from some ideas of some scientists. Like I can say that the fission starts from Fermi, which
Enrico
was
Fermi.
Enrico Fermi. Yes, exactly. Was demonstrated the capability to sustain the nuclear chain in United States. That the plant is called Chicago Pile, CP.
Yeah.
And it started from an idea, and he had some ideas. He showed this ability, and now we are pursuing his say dreams. What let's say his ideas, let's say mostly
With engineering.
Yes, with nuclear engineering.
Yeah, so you study the most studied reactors, like the
Yes.
water cooled. So
Water cooled reactors.
the main one. So, but it's you think it's a choose of like you see in them the not the security, the safety.
Yeah.
Or you think that it's like the I don't know, the right way to go through nuclear engineering, like not going through the the front, like new reactors,
Yeah,
new ideas, like going safety and going sure.
sure.
Sorry for the
No, it's
question.
I totally understand what you mean. Uh, if you want to suppose you have a garage full of cars.
cars.
I say this because it's more tangible, it is more understandable
more
for
understandable.
others. Suppose you have a very, let's say, a car that goes very, very fast, and you have a Formula One, and you have a normal car, and you have a car which is specially designed for new, let's say, new people, for beginners. If you choose to go with the Formula One car and you are a beginner, you will crash.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you have to start with the
Too big to
with the
fail.
beginner one. But I don't mean that even this way a light water reactor is a beginner level. But if you consider other type of the reactors, 80 years or 60 years ago, they started with the water. So we have to understand how the reactor with the water cooled works. Then after that, we can switch the coolant. We can almost guess what will happen if we switch the coolant in the term of the corrosion, in term of the heat transfer. Lots of things can happen in the nuclear reactor. And then...
So it's not dangerous.
No, it's not dangerous at all. The concept of the nuclear reactors, the accidents that they were a time ago, they were not because of the a failure of the nuclear design. Like I can say it.
You can explain what you explained us before.
Like about the Chernobyl, that was very viral that time, that everyone was afraid of the Chernobyl, and they were like afraid and frightening everyone, and sadly in Italy after that they started to shut down the reactors. But basically the phenomenon, or let's say the action which led to the Chernobyl, was that there was like, suppose that you have a bus for a school, let's say. You are driving this bus with a speed of 120 or 130. There is a big wall in front of you, and you think that I will go through this wall without nothing will happen.
Nothing
No,
will be wrong.
absolutely not. If we design a reactor, it is designed to work to a limit based on the safety. If you take this out of its limit, there are some problems. And we also study these problems. We also have a severe amount of safety systems to bring the reactor back. But again, for each system in universe, there are some limitation. You cannot do anything, even with this keyboard or with the computer, you cannot do anything that you want. With the car, you can go, for example, 200, but if you go 300, the engine will fail. Because it is something that is
everything has limits.
Happen,
Improving too much the prestations.
Yes. Now, if you consider another accident, what happened in
like
the
Fukushima.
An Instagram user asked it about Fukushima.
But about Fukushima, you can search 0 people died because of the release of the radioactive material or related to the nuclear energy. The main problem was first the earthquake, which was, if I'm not wrong, it was something like a 9.1 Richter. And then we had the tsunami, which was 16 meter. Now, most of the people died because of these two combined of accident of the tsunami and earthquake, not because of the nuclear
natural
itself.
Disasters.
And
if they happen in Italy, it will cause strange.
And you can imagine 16-meter tsunamis is something that it's very hard to imagine that it will happen. That, and based on that, we design a system. like I can say in normal way, if we want to design a reactor and we select a place, we study the nature, like we study the maximum level of the flooding that can happen and happened 100 years ago. We study the maximum seismic load that may happen and happened, let's say 50, 60 years ago.
Oh, okay.
The problem was the Fukushima was that this amount of seismic load and after that tsunami was not there in the history. So the engineer who analyzed and designed this couldn't have the imagination to
was not
that
predictable. Yeah.
predictable. But after that, there is this golden sentence from the head of the IAEA that accident anywhere, it is accident everywhere. Like a few years ago, there were like now after that, I can say that if we see an accident, if you see, for example, in ocean, in the place that like in Australia, like it is far from Europe. If we see an accident, we also take this possibility that it is possible that this accident may happen here. So that is the reason that even after Fukushima, 9.1, I think it never happened in Europe or in near here. But also we did this effect that what if this load or this accident will happen in the plants that are in Europe. So we did these tests and we demonstrated the safety of our plants in Europe, and the safety results were good. We also modified some systems and also to have the better response. But still the plants demonstrate a good result in the case of the safety due to the
safety in response to natural disasters.
Yes, that happened in Japan. Like we call it a stress test.
Yes.
Like you have a pen.
We do it also with cars.
With the cars. That if you want to, let's say you have designed a car, you do some tests. But this also the tests that I'm saying, these stress tests are just specific of the Fukushima, but happening in Europe. And we demonstrate again the safety. So we are saying that the nuclear energy is safe as much as that we can think, and we are trying very hard also to improve our systems to produce the clean energy for everybody, also to reduce the price of the electricity. And also not only that, because also with the nuclear you can have also the desalination. You can desalinate the seawater to consume as a drinkable water. You can produce medicines for cure the cancer. Also, you can there is one study done with
there are medical applications.
Yeah, there are a huge amount of medical application going on as we speak now. For example, I can say that the University of Pisa is strongly engaged with the hospital in order to, let's say, better use of the nuclear energy and let's say physics of the nuclear engineering to the patients to cure the cancer. This is very helpful for the humankind, and there are lots of things that I can say. And you can imagine if you consider, let's say, nuclear energy with other systems, with other source of energy. We don't say that we should go 100% nuclear and abandon the rest of the energies. We say that nuclear energy has the capability of working 24 hours, 7 days. So it works only, just not works only if we do the maintenance or we have to do the refueling, which is very, very low. But if you consider, if you want to build a solar plant in winter, there is no sun. If you build it, for example, in Pisa, there is no sun. So you cannot produce energy. But instead, you can have a power plant, you can have a wind, or you can have a solar.
And the renewables.
And the renewables, let's say, when the amount of energy production by these energy sources are low, you can increase the load of the nuclear. When their load is high, you can reduce the amount of energy produced by the nuclear engine. That we call the load following. That we did it now in our reactors. They are capable of doing that. And this is the main advantages of the nuclear. No energy is possible 24/7, 24 and 7.
Yes, I wish to reach that point that we can use the energy produced by nuclear plants as a weight base of for energetic activities.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if I can say,
Yep.
one of our questions was the net zero, so the global programmation or European programmation for following years.
Zero emissions.
Zero emission, and you told us
Yeah.
that
No.
a carbon plant produce per day. You told about
11 million kilogram coal will be
Coal.
burned, and almost if all of this coal burned completely without production of the carbon monoxide, based on the stoichiometry, you will have same amount of the carbon dioxide emitted to the atmosphere every day.
so 11 million kilograms per
carbon
day.
dioxide will be produced.
Quindi soffermiamoci su questo punto. In italiano sono 11 milioni di chili al giorno di carbone che, se consumato senza emissioni di monossido di carbonio, va a produrre 11 milioni di, insomma, il rapporto stoichiometrico ci dà la stessa quantità in CO2.
Di chili di CO2, sì.
Sì, magari non sono chili, sono moli, però insomma il fatto è lo stesso. E questo, diciamo, che va letteralmente contro le programmazioni magari globali europee, che possono essere quelle di raggiungere il prima possibile le emissioni zero, so zero emissions.
If I can, there is a tricky point about net zero. Net zero doesn't mean zero emission. Net zero means that the planet Earth has some capability to absorb and use this carbon dioxide, suppose photosynthesis. It will take away this carbon dioxide, it will produce glucose, the plant, the tree. The net zero means that we will produce equal or less than this capability.
Okay, so the same quantity that we have absorbed, so the planet.
The Earth is capable to reprocess.
Balanced.
Yes, because we want to have the balanced environment, because this greenhouse effect, they will go to the upper atmosphere.
Wow.
They will not let the energy of the sun exit the atmosphere, and the temperature of the atmosphere will start to rise. If you have more greenhouse gases, you will have more, let's say you will have less amount of radiation emitted to outside. You will have more temperature rise in the
the greenhouse effect.
And greenhouse effect is real. You can see that the level of the Poo river in north of Italy is decreased, or the sea level it decreased.
It's constant in the seasons.
The temperature.
Also, temperature. Also, for example, 2 years ago, winter. I remember it was cold. These days, winter is not very cold like before. Some places they were snowing. Now it may not snow, because if we change the temperature, you change everything in the earth. Like also the way animals live, the way of the production. Some may produce more, some may produce less. So it balance everything.
Like, I had the opportunity to speak with un apicoltore, come si può dire?
A
bee man. Like, and he told me that nowadays bees are like not confused, but the high temperatures make them misunderstand what is winter and what is summer.
Yes.
So they are in danger, because they go through go check if there are flowers, maybe for the high temperatures, and they will not find nothing, so they will consume a lot of energy. So they will it's a big problem, because
and the risk to expose to
because we know that bees like this type of animals are at the basis of our life, of our system.
Yeah. Especially I like honey very so much.
That's
Imagine that you can't buy only because bees can.
Or
The
it can be
greenhouse effect.
expensive because if they
Yeah.
cannot produce, it would be rare, it would be expensive. So also the amount of price will rise. This is the fact.
There is an issue also of economic opportunities of the population. The richer classes of the population can permit for themselves some products that we consider essential and others not.
Yeah.
The others not. Yeah.
So we are going through the hand. So I think we can just analyze two I think the most important questions of this interview. The first one will be is what is nuclear fusion?
Yeah, we have talked about fission.
About fusion, and now we talk about fusion in a technical way. Like, does technique allows it? Is it possible? Is it functional? And we will end with we will end the interview with with Red's opinion about the pros of nuclear energy. A summary, like a summary.
Yes.
So
E anche vostre domande se ci saranno, certo.
Okay, so if I want to say what is fusion, I have to say what was the need for the fusion.
Yeah.
Then we can speak about the physics. Okay, as I said, the main problem was the fear of the depletion of the uranium in the planet. So we were looking for other energy sources.
Yeah.
And you can imagine every day we woke up from sleep and we see sun. Sun is the main energy source of the Earth.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, without it, nothing will grow in the
Without
Earth.
sun, there is no life.
Yeah. So we try to take a look at the sun, and we see that in the sun, instead of breaking this wall, they are combined together. Like they are a small atom connected to another small atom, forming a bigger atom and releasing an energy.
a large amount.
A large amount of energy.
Yes.
And producing a high temperature. This temperature, based on the radiation, will come to Earth.
It's
Now-
exponentially bigger than
Yes,
the-
much
than fiction,
bigger
yeah.
because the amount of energy released in the fusion is, let's say, I would say it's almost higher than the fission. Also, the rate of the reaction is higher because you have to consider
The rate.
in 1 second how many reactions you have. If I remember it very well, I'm not quite sure about this. I think the amount of energy released by the fission is more than the fusion, but the rate of the reaction by the fusion is more than the fission.
Okay.
I'm not quite sure about this. But anyway, if I want to say about the fusion, so you can consider we have two light nucleus, like you can consider deuterium, hydrogen 2, isotope of the hydrogen, connecting together and form the helium. This helium will produce some energy, this formation. But in order to, and there are lots of reactions that you can do. There are also the reaction with the tritium, there are the reaction with also the lithium. But there are two keys that we have to take into account. First, we have to maintain this reaction because we cannot impose, for example, you cannot start the reaction, then the reaction stops, you start it again. No, we have to
because
maintain.
it is very stable. Yeah.
Also a stability issue, but also economically, we don't want, like suppose you want to warm the food on the, let's say, oven.
Okay.
You don't start the gas, you wait for 1 minute and it stops and you start again. It is continuous flow of the gas. And we wanted the same also in the nuclear energy, also in the fission, also in the fusion. We wanted the chain of the reaction continues.
Because it's too much the energy that we spend.
Yeah, because of the economics. Basically, it is economics. And now after that, in order to do the fusion, we have to reach to very high temperature. Why? Because the nucleus, it is has the positive charge. So if we want to combine positive with positive, the law of the electrostatic will say they will repulse each other. Like if you have a magnet, when I was a child, I had the magnet, you cannot put the two same poles together. They will repulse each other.
Yeah.
Unless you
Positive
expose
and negative. Yeah.
positive and positive.
Yeah.
Positive and positive. They will repulse each other.
Yeah,
Unless
they're
you
close.
put a magnificent amount of energy, you connect them very fast.
Yeah.
In order to do that, we have to increase the temperature. We have to go like a 10 million degrees C, and then we have to maintain almost this temperature that it is done by formation of by changing of the gas to the plasma.
Okay, yeah.
Then we have the blanket and we have the cooling of the blanket, etc., etc. But the idea of the fission is very nice.
Okay.
If I was the physicist, very nice, very beautiful, and economically it's very fine. We don't produce radioactive material. We have some amount of tritium, but it's not a big problem. We deal with it also. But as an engineer, building this complex plant with the amount of science that we have now, it is not enough. Let's say I can say that it is almost impossible right now. We need some time to analyze better, because in terms of the material, you can imagine what kind of material we have to use for tolerate this 10 million degrees C, and we have to cool them very fast because they will melt. For material, we don't have a material that can sustain 10 million degrees C and still remains in the form of the solid.
It is difficult to find an enough resistant material to.
So we use so we use the material that we have. We use stainless steel or carbon steel or other materials, but we have to cool them. But again, I say that as an engineer, it will take some time that this idea of the fusion comes to, let's say, real plant. Of course, in France, ITER companies, they are building this plant as we speak, and there are many countries contributing, like South Korea or other countries. Also, Italy is strongly involved in this project.
Yeah, Italy has very good nuclear engineers.
For sure. And also in University of Pisa, it is strongly studied fusion reactors, also by my professor. But still, we are just developing. We are going forward. We never stop. And one day, and I cannot say when, maybe sooner or later, we will achieve this. Let's say this physics too. We can make it engineering one day.
But sorry, me. Yeah. What's the point of reaching so much high temperature for the forming of the plasma?
Yeah, for forming of the plasma, also you will let's say you will overcome the barrier of the repulsion of the forces of the electrostatic forces of the nucleus due to the high temperature. Because you're giving the energy, and when the atom is in plasma, they will move randomly. Like they will move more, and there is a possibility that they collide together.
So we cannot predict their movements.
There are some models. Like in the normal, this subject was very popular. Like there is the Brownian gas motion method. There are lots of studies on that. We have some models for demonstrating these reactions, but I would say they are not perfectly as they should now. We are starting to make them perfect every day and every day going forward. And you can imagine it is not a very easy thing to do, because you have some probability of the react. You have to imagine one nucleus colliding with another nucleus, and this is something that you cannot see in the normal life. You cannot see with the eyes. You have to have very strong imagination, very powerful mathematical ability, and we use computers. We use computer codes. We use.
So you need also informatics.
Yeah, we have to use computer codes, but as my professor said, a good engineer should do the hand calculation as much as possible, and then compare the result that he obtained from the code to see if the code is giving the right answer. Because you can use a code can give you any number, but this code should be qualified, should be verified, should be validated. And this is another subject of the nuclear engineering that we have. We study in University of Pisa deeply, this subject.
Okay.
Yeah, very, very cool. Thank you for giving us this information. It's important.
It's also panoramic, but
it's important.
It's very important. Yeah.
No, you're welcome.
So now you have white paper. You can speak about what you want.
Yeah.
Closing the
subject. Yeah. Okay, so I just go to main features of the nuclear and what is possible to do. So in
the perspective,
So the JRC has published a paper called Green Taxonomy.
Yeah.
That it is some kind of a guideline to change from, let's say, to transition transition phase of the energy.
We mean EU guidelines.
It is a paper. It is for the public. It can be read It can be read with everyone can read it. It's not something pure physics. It is just ratings. Yes, just showing how we have to deal with this net zero problem. Let's say, or not a problem, challenge. It's not a problem. We can do it, and. In order to that, nuclear energy is one of the, let's say, proposed energies, alongside with the wind, with the solar, with the biomass and others. But if we now look deep in the subject, if we want to build a plant which produces us 1,000 megawatt electric, based on the land usage, if we use nuclear, we have 2 up to 5 square kilometers. Now, for other energies, not like that. For example, for wind, maybe it is 100. For solar, maybe even more or less. So, if we want to, let's say, build a plant, we have to decide based on the available area that we have. In Europe, maybe we don't have such availability that we spend, let's say, 100 square kilometers for a plant. But with the nuclear, we can do it in the 2 or 5 square kilometers, very small.
In comparison with other energetic fuels, it's a lot, or
no, nuclear is I have this number written here. I can say, for example, for nuclear power plant, it is between 2 up to 5 square kilometers.
Okay.
But if you go to the wind turbine, it is more than 250 square kilometers land used for the same power produced.
More land.
More land. Yeah. But we don't say that we should go 100% nuclear. We say that we can negotiate with other energy managers, let's say, or engineers. We accept your ideas. We accept that also there are some advantages of using solar. Also, there are some disadvantages. Of course, like I can say, the solar plant that you are buying, it contains heavy metals.
Yeah.
And after that, you have to dispose it. How do you want to dispose it? It's not 100% pure. Okay, you have to know it. Yeah. But we say, we go with you. We have the load following. When we have the sun, we use the maximum amount of the sun, amount of the energy that can be taken from the sun. When it is night, or it is windy, it is rainy, there is no sun, we will produce energy with the nuclear, because anyway the population will grow. Anyway, the demand for the clean energy will grow, and we need a source of energy which is cheap, because we can have a plant that producing energy. But the question is it economical for people? Because everyone's right.
Yeah.
Because it is everyone's right to benefit from energy, for clean energy, to breathe also clean air.
it's one of the goals of the SDGs on UN SDGs.
Yeah. Also,
the right to clean energy.
yeah. Also, so people can read this paper, GRC Green Taxonomy. And another thing is that with the help of nuclear, we can help to cure the cancer. And also with the help of the nuclear technology, we can also, let's say, diagnose to help for the diagnosis of the cancer with the X-ray, with the CT scan. They're all from the
radiation.
Yeah, from the radiation. And now there are some studies of use of the artificial intelligence to combine with the pictures that we have to say to the patient before the cancer going and growing up to a level that cannot be cured. We diagnose we do the diagnosis. We found the cancer and we start the treatment. And you cannot find it anywhere else. It is only possible with the help of the nuclear energy, with the physics that come from the advancement of the nuclear energy. And the last thing that there are, of course, lots of things I can say. Also, we can use it for warming the house. Like you can have a small reactor in each zone. And some countries, they have it. They use this, or you can have the one line from nuclear power plant to the houses to make the houses warm. It's done in the maybe in the Arctic places that they are very, very cold. But I just want to say that as a let's say as a last word. One of the also advantages that should be considered, like it is one of the problems maybe, like now the one of the problem is that there is no water in some countries. And
currents of water.
Like in Africa, there are some countries that there were some rivers and there were some civilization around these rivers, but this river dried. Now there are no civilization. People are becoming poor, and they don't have a good life. One way is that we can use the nuclear energy, and have been studied by my professor. Very good subject. We can use nuclear reactors. We can produce energy, giving this energy, this power to the pumps. We can pump the water to that river and recreate the civilization.
Oh, it's very interesting.
Yeah, like there is one a very old and ancient river in Algeria. People can see it. It is dry now, and now imagine we use these nuclear reactors to power up these pumps. We recreate this river again. We recreate the civilization, and also we use this water to let's say, desalinate the seawater. We have fresh water because the supply of the seas, our oceans is unlimited. We can use them, and of course they will have very, very, very small effect on let's say, if you consider the environmental effects of the desalination, because we are human kind. We need water to drink. Now I cannot be thirsty or die because to save the environment, right? But also we can study this subject very well up to a time that we have minimum damage to the environment. But now I say the amount of damage is zero. This is my idea.
Okay. Yeah. It can be a perfect close to our interview. So we could talk about this issue for hours, but time I think time is over. So
yes.
we thank you very, very.
Grazie mille.
Yeah. Thank you for your presence, and good luck for your studies.
Thank you very much. Thank you
for
very
being
much.
here and for this information.
Oh, you're welcome. You're
for
welcome.
your love for what you do, because
Thank you.
I can see the love for what you do.
We can see it. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
It is,
E noi ci rivediamo alla prossima puntata.
grazie
Episodio numero
ancora,
5.
Renzo.
Restate aggiornati.
No problem.
Seguite RadioEco su Twitch, Instagram e YouTube, dove caricheremo le repliche. Buona serata.
Buona serata.